Okay, so first day testing out the new Scag Stander. I've decided to bring it to a property that's nice and open, that hopefully I can have some real clear runs with. Going to see how it goes, so looking forward to giving it a go. Still learning. Oh, key banger. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. It's not going to be a game changer on your first go, and me putting together these videos, I'm going to show you all the challenges that I had, because you're not going to jump on one of these machines and just go for it and nail it. It takes a bit to get used to how the machine works, where you can access the machine, just the little quirks and things you've got to really consider when you use it. But I can definitely see the huge potential in it when you get your head around it. So I've gone through it on the front. This is one of my lawns that isn't a really flash lawn that I do. It's got a fair bit of wave, but it is quite open, so I thought it'd be a good testing ground to do it. I've gone on about 2 1/4. I've used the Catch Pro on the front, and I've just mulched the back. I did do a bit of blowing down the back, just to sort of scatter the rest of that mulched grass. And look, it come up pretty good. There's quite a few high and low spots, so I'll probably go about 2.5 inches on the Scag at this place when I do it next time. But yeah, obviously I probably took similar, if not a bit longer, because I was stuffing around trying to work it out. But I can definitely see how once you get used to it and learn the setup and going into corners and how to do it effectively, that it would be a game changer in your time. So here we go. So you can see there's a couple of high spots there, or low spots I should say. So I probably would take it to about 2.5 inches. You'll see me nearly get taken out by the clothesline when I went through there. I'm 6'4" already, so once I'm on the Scag, I'm a lot higher again. And I've been nearly knocked out multiple times by these stupid washing lines that everybody probably knows all about. So you'll find too, because I've got a fair bit of undulation over here, there's a couple of little low spots, which is why I said I'd probably put it to about 2.5 rather than 2 1/4. But I mean, it's a nice open yard. This is where I mulched at the back. You'll see on this corner here, you've got a couple of little kind of, where the deck's so wide, and obviously taking it at an angle, you'll get that little bit of a scoop. So again, which is probably why I just try to take it at 2.5. You can sort of feather in those things with a whipper snipper and tidy it up a little bit. But yeah, this is all mulched at the back, so it's actually pretty nice. As I said, I had to blow it down. You could see if you had a dedicated mulch kit, and potentially you wouldn't have even have to worry about that. Catch Pro works really good. But yeah, not too bad. Off for the next one. Okay, so this is the second job for today on Scag. Getting used to it. It's pretty clean again. I had to do a bit of blowing down again. This is all mulching. Be good to get some gator blades on it just to see how they go. I had it on 2 inches this time. So maybe like an equivalent to your 4th lowest setting on your Honda. And it come up pretty nice, super quick, heaps faster using it that time. Had to go over it a few times just to mulch it down a bit further, but again, I think if I use those gator blades, that might improve it again. The body feels a lot better though, I can tell you that, that's for sure. I would have normally taken about an hour to do this lawn. Pretty similar, just again, because mucking around and going back and forth and jumping off. Here's the back. Oh, looks like it's been locked. There's the back. So yeah, very happy. Hey everybody, it's been a couple of weeks since I got my Scag 32-inch V Ride, and I've had a bit of a testing phase on it over the last couple of weeks, just doing some general sort of residential lawns. It's been really good, a real eye-opener of where this machine comes into its own. A couple of things that I really found is it's just important to work out which properties are going to be suitable for the Scag or the stander in general, because sometimes the efficiency aspect works really well when you've got a nice open space where you're running in a corner block. Sometimes the smaller back places or back sections of the yard aren't as accessible. Well, they can be accessible, but not actually as efficient. But where I found this machine has really come into its own is on corner blocks, in places with nice open spaces, where you're not so confined to turn around, obviously, because it's a bigger machine than what you're used to if you're running a 21-inch push mower. But one of the biggest things that I found is of the benefit of having a stander is just purely the wear and tear on your body, minimising those amount of miles that you're doing each week. Because I know that, you know, we could be doing anywhere up to 50 k's a week. I think in most weeks I do about 50 k's a week push mowing, and so it all adds up in your body. We've all seen those old guys that are walking around, hobbling around in their 50s and 60s still mowing. And for me, as a young bloke only getting this in the last couple of years, that's not something that I want to be doing myself. So looking at ways to take the load off the body, but also get some efficiency and hopefully, yeah, increase the profit in the business as well. I found a couple of the quirks of getting used to this machine is just working out how you enter into corners. When you're doing your trimming with your whip snippering, just making sure that you're taking a bit of a wide arc into your corners. So when you come in with your these wheels, just ensuring that you're kind of sweeping into the corner, so you take a bit of an edge out of the corners. A couple of the cons that I found is that sometimes when you're in a really small confined space, in a residential, even though you can get into the backyard, it's not necessarily going to be as efficient as maybe using as push mower. So what I found the best way to do is just use it where it's suitable. You know, if you can use it on the front yard and get a good section of a corner block done and smash that out, it's again minimising that time that you're spending running up and down and doing push mowing, and then you're using that push mower in those smaller spaces, and sometimes I think you'll get a better result. The other thing that I found too is that if you're going into residential spaces where you're quite confined, because it's such a big machine and high horsepower, I guess, it really can bring up a lot of dust. So if you're working in a really small spaces and confined spaces with windows open and customers have got that sort of areas opened up, you don't want to have that all that dust and grass going in the house. So you're probably better off in those circumstances to use a mower. But as an example, I had one property this week that was about 850 square. It's actually reasonably steep as well. I got the Scag into that and managed to get it done in about an hour and a half, and that was probably left for a good 6 weeks before the last mow, so it needed a really good snip and a really good mow as well, but that came up really good. The other thing you'll find too is just thinking about your access into different places. With this, I have found occasionally if you get off camber and you come into a downhill slope and you take it at an angle, it can kind of free ride or free spool, and it just kind of goes off camber, and then you'll think, oh geez, I'm going to run into a fence here, and then once you get onto the ground again, you can turn the corner. So you just really got to be careful coming into different areas, and particularly when you're riding, you're coming into slopes or elongated sort of areas. You've got to think about your entry point so that you're not scalping the grass. So if you come in a section where you're more straight up and down, that's the better way to do it. But also thinking about how you're traveling around those big angles. So I had 4 jobs on Friday that I used this for. I had about probably 6 or 7 jobs total, and I had 4 jobs that just made my life so much easier because of having this on there that day, and it kept me fresh for those other couple of jobs that I had to do, and come home on a Friday where I normally would have been buggered, and gave me the ability to go to the tip and just not feel like I was as smashed as what I'd normally be able normally be by the end of the week. So definitely looking forward to running this machine more and starting to cater my customers to the machine. You know, when you buy this machine, you've got to start to think about what customers and what type of property this is going to suit, because you know, your small, really small, tight kind of areas aren't going to work really good for this, and it's actually probably more suitable and more efficient to use 21-inch mowers for those sort of scenarios. But if you're looking at a block from about maybe 500 that's quite open to up to maybe 1,000 square metre up to an acre at tops, this is going to be fantastic. So lots of horsepower. You probably could actually find that you could run the revs a little bit lower, like you can go, you're supposed to max it out I think to run it normally, but I found if you just take it down a notch, because it's got so much power, you know, and if you're not doing stuff that's really heavy, it might save yourself in fuel and a bit of load in the engine too. So fantastic couple of weeks. I'll probably do some more reviews on future on the product, and I'm really happy with it so far and happy with the quality. One of the other things that I really love about this machine is it's how easy it is to maneuver. So it can be super precise when you get to those little areas where you've got to really be minuscule in your turning. This is a really precise kind of way to get through gates and around corners and different things. And the best thing or the biggest thing you've got to consider is that when you're doing your turns, when you're doing a 3-point turn and you're not reversing both the controls, so you're doing like a spinning motion where both of the wheels are ripping the ground up, because what you'll find is, yeah, you will just start to tear up ground. So you've got to think about your technique and how you're turning as well, and just not be so brutal with how you turn. So you've got to really turn nice, just always using one lever rather than pulling 2 at the same time and getting that sort of tearing up of the grass. So that's going to be one of the bigger things. You're going to start to use this machine for your regular customers, and if they start to see you tearing up grass, it's not going to be a good outcome for yourself. But overall, really excited about this machine.